All right, welcome to Tuned to Perfection Friday Night Fun. We're live again. Oh, Maggie wanted me to do the fun intro, so okay. Got nice muddled old fashioned. Tried a new camera angle, a little lower on my shoulder tonight. Gonna be able to reach up and zoom in, zoom out. Right there. There's going to be one cable in the way right now. I'm waiting for a longer USB, but I routed it back behind everything. So we'll zoom out long way so you can see everything currently. And then once we get a few more people on board, then we will discuss what we're going to do tonight. Yeah, that cable's pulling everything out of the way, but that's okay. I wish I could see who's on. Let's see, how does this program work? Current viewers, 1, view insights. Well, that doesn't help. I'll figure it out. Okay, anyway. We'll zoom in on the guy, not on my guts. Alright, so if I lift it up, you'll be able to see it. Perfect, okay. Got 2 people, excellent. And a like, alright. How's everybody's evening going on this wonderful Friday? Hey, John. Hopefully you got something good to drink there in Cali. Does the time fit better for the getting on in Cali for a Friday night, or I know you're 2 hours behind, but you'll get to see my drink get lower and lower and lower. 3 people, excellent. So, last time, round 2 happened way late last night. What happened at the end of the stream yesterday? This is the better. There we go. Ram sleeve. This better so it's in the stream. There we go. Okay, so ram sleeve. So for the Gen 4s, they had their own ram sleeve, and the Gen 5s went to just the body. So this is the last year they had ram sleeves. And for the ram sleeves, if you don't know, they're very, very, very annoying. What they did was they were able to take a spider body and then put this ram sleeve in and then turn it to low pressure by having a ram in here hitting the valve open, so you didn't have to use a spring like on a spider and a guide rod and everything else from the back. So what happened from last night is this hose bar, if you can see it right here, if it wants to zoom, I don't know, but anyway, hose bar, and the hose bar is usually a solid brass piece like this one, and for some apparent reason this is actually just a nickel plated brass, and I guess I had a bad one because on these this one's a little thicker than this one, so I'm just talking to John now. But this hose bar broke, and I wasn't putting a lot of torque on. I literally wasn't putting much torque on it. It was screwed in and it just snapped. A lot of people have those issues. The Gen 4s are problematic because they cut this V groove out. You have to fit something in there. So I got upset, and being an engineer, I ordered a new ram sleeve, which will come in next week, but I had a spare older one that has a little bit of ano blemish right here in the black. But I figured, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I wanted to build this. I wanted to shoot it this weekend, and we'll see what we can do. But that being said, this shouldn't have been that problematic. So what I did So I took a socket head, and I think this one's 4.5 millimeters for those, and I think the other ones are a little bit larger. Yeah, so the other ones are 5 mil, which works out great. So the brass ones are for the older guns. The newer guns use these smaller 4.5 ones. And I just ground the hell out of it. Just ground it all the way off. So now, when I need to get in here, it will be perfectly aligned with trying to get this hose bar back off when I change it out. So it sits perfectly in there and doesn't force anything. A 10? What do you mean, Gabe? Oh, this one's a 4.5 millimeter, just enough to grab these hose barbs. I think these are, sad to say, Chinese made ones. And these are, I think these are Numidyne, these solid brass ones. But they don't fit, they fit a 5 mil. But yeah, so it snapped off in there. And I have a little trick that you use Torx wrenches, and there was no glue, it had a sealant, but nothing, a 10 millimeter joke, yes. Yeah, I didn't lose it, I just ground the hell out of it. So let me see if I can get it. Let me zoom out here, or zoom in on it. Let's see. Focus, get to the focus part. Yeah, it's tracking my finger, but yeah, so you can see I ground the hell out of it and made it real thin. So that way I can get it in that slot. It's focusing on those screws. Okay. Okay. Hey, I was just glad to be able to get your hose barb out today. I felt defeated yesterday. I really did. I was like, you know what? This trick always works as long as there's not red Loctite or a blue Loctite. I can get in there. I had a torch ready to go to get that your hose barb out, and it came out perfectly. And put a new one in. It didn't break, so I was just like, what the hell? I was not even torquing on this. I was literally using the softest, gentlest touch, and mine broke. So I was just like, what did I do? I don't know. But that being said, I did put the new. If y'all didn't, no one tuned into it, but I did a video on it. If you want to go back and watch it, I did put the spare ram sleeve in. I went to Dirty Works and ordered another new ram sleeve, and I also ordered a micro. What do you call it? Micro Torx bit kit, not Torx. What is it? Removal, broken screw removal kit. They have micro ones that will fit this, so less than number 0. Hopefully it works. I don't know. It looks like the brass, and this is what I'm thinking. It was a defective one. It literally formed over the threads in there. So I went and tried to tap it and do everything else to get it out, and I couldn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean it up and fix it. This one had a few scratches here and here, and you can't see it in the video, but yeah, extractor kit. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. Let me take another sip. See how bad it gets over the night. Try to talk and film and work on paintball guns and talk to people. So, hey. Yeah, so new one ordered. It's going to get in next week, but I'd love to shoot this at the field this weekend. That being said, like I said in the last video, I wanted to show you my reg testing kit. And let's see, I need to make sure that if I'm going to show anything, I can put it over here. So I told myself I was going to go ahead and show y'all how all my tools work for these Intimidators. I use these on all the other markers, but this is what I normally do for people's markers is I will turn them down or take the reg apart, turn it down as low as possible. I know that's on the bottom end of it functioning. So like say if it says that it needs a 280 psi reg system, I put it at 200. Same thing with pretty much anything. If it needs 180, I put it at like 150, 120. So that way I know I'm not going to blow anything. All right. So let's see here. There we go. Perfect. Now it's focused on it. So what I do is I know I set this one already. I watch it to see if it starts jumping around or if it holds its pressure, and if it's going to start climbing. So on this one, um, we're going to set it, dyno it, and see what it jumps around to. So we know that the highest was 207.8. So I just kind of see if it's going to want to climb back there, but will it climb up to 208 or 209? If it has a really bad leak, it's going to really take off and start climbing parabolically to like 210, 212, 213. Yes, so this is a dryer electronic gauge. It's plus or minus accurate. I'd have to read the back stuff, but pretty accurate. And it's for I want to say it was for a drying kit or something that measured pressure across it, and I just purchased it on Amazon. I can send you the link later. And then I took a 1/4 inch MPT down to an 1/8 inch MPT, and then the 1/8 inch MPT went into the die. Reg tester. This is the rare part now. You can find these reg testers, but not the adapter. The adapter up here is for these are threaded for Dye's Hyper 3 regs. So it's the little threaded reg tops. And then this is the actual size of what like ASA threads. So, but yes, it was expensive. So we do have a little creep, but not enough that's worrying me because, I mean, if it's 1 psi over a few minutes, I'm not complaining, and it's bouncing back and forth. So this gauge is pretty accurate, um, and so you got a little bit of fluctuation. It's not going to sit there rock steady. But if I was seeing it like 11 and then jump to 11.5, 11.8, and then back to 11.2, and then jump to 12, I know I've got a leak. Here I'm bouncing within, you know, zero point 0.4 psi over the last few minutes that we've been talking. So I don't foresee it climbing very high. And that's why we put these at a pressure that, you know, won't hurt it. But yeah, I mean, it's holding pretty darn rock steady. So I really don't think there's any issue with this reg, and it's holding rock steady. So that's what I do. Anything you do with pressures is what you want is to make sure that it A can handle it, and B it's not going to blow up in your face. So you want to go with things that are designed for the air industry, that you're going to have anything that's going to, you want to be as safe as possible. So overbuild it. So that's why I went with really expensive fittings, except like this Numedyne stuff, like we were talking about last night. All this stuff is rated to like, I want to say really, really high pressures. I can't remember the stats, but they were pretty high. And they weren't cheap. Air micro air stuff is very expensive, and that's why I always kind of go with these Ashcroft gauges. I can trust them. Ashcroft is one of those brands that's been around for years and years and years and years and years, and you want to buy Ashcroft. The problem is they're not. They've kind of moved away from micro to more macro stuff. So you've got larger gauges. They're not at 1/8 MPT and whatnot. So there we go. Let's turn that this way. There we go. Focus here. One camera. That's all right. Still looks good. Let's see. Sounds good. All right, cool. Yeah, you know, I'm really worried about my sound. I'm actually having to talk across the room to the laptop. Damn it. Lost. There. Okay. I have the camera on autofocus and it's not wanting to focus here. Come on. Come on. I don't know what it's focusing on, but okay, anyway, doesn't matter. All right. So this is what I wanted to get to last night, was dynoing the LPR. Now I did it on round 2 and got it set and how I wanted to set it. But I'll go back through the process I did. Let me back this up so it kind of stays in focus. There we go. So as you can see, I have it set at about 68 psi. These markers are 65 to 75 psi. So each tick mark is a 10, so 50, 60, 70. I'm right under 70 psi there. What I do is I will cycle it a few times, just like I shot the marker, even more. So as you can see there, it's actually after startup, I have it set to about 62 after startup. So what I want to do after I've balanced the valve out a little bit, I want to add a little bit of pressure. So I think it's this one. I kind of set everything out tonight to make sure I had it ready, not digging through drawers while I'm talking to you. All right, so we're going to bump it up just a bit. So I'm going to look at it though. I'm looking at the camera. And bump that up. Okay. Now let's cycle it. All right, I'm at 68 solid. Let me back it up. All right, so you can see there that we're just kind of in the middle. I know it's kind of an angle, so if I tilt it, you can see we're right about 68. Let me bump it down a little bit more. Getting sensitive today. 65, right there. So what I'm doing is, on all these Intimidators, they have the hose barb. The hose barb and the gauge are matched through a little drill hole here. And then, let me zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so LPR. So high pressure comes in, fills this volume chamber here. Pressures the back side of this to the Schrader valve. This presses on the Schrader valve. And then as the change in pressure pushes and opens and closes to let more air in and through the system. LPR runs the solenoid, and then the high pressure sits against the valve that's in here. And as the ram hits the valve, it opens and let air in. So you're directing the air to 2 different positions for the Intimidator. And most other guns or markers, I should say, for that matter. So now that we know our pressure is at 65, I've cycled it a few times. Also, all the O-rings are new on this marker, so it's going to have a nice break-in period, but this gives you kind of an idea. All right. So I love this Angel gauge. I'm going to be able to really watch it and see how well that reads if it starts really climbing up when I'm using it. If not, I'll plug it off. I talked about that last night. But. All right, so the air systems are done for right now. Let me put that on the ground. Pull this off. And what's great is if you do it all right, you know the output pressure, this system, like that hose is barely hanging on. And you're not dealing with something shooting off or spraying in your face or making you, yeah, little barbs suck. I completely agree. Like I said earlier, I don't know if y'all are tuning in. I had a ram sleeve in the marker last night. This nickel plated brass piece sheared. I was barely touching it, and it literally sheared, and then it left a lot of brass pieces in the thread, so I'm gonna have to work that out. And then this is what they should look like, all brass and a little bit stronger, but just in case, I got annoyed today, and as an engineer, I took a socket and machined it down a little bit so that it just fits nice and easy over this part if I need to take it out, which I will be next week when the new ram sleeve comes in. This is one of my older ones that has a anno blemish. If anybody knows me, I'm pretty pretty like things pretty, so I don't like things having issues with it. I might keep it if everything works perfectly. It was new, it just had nano luminance. I also made sure that I put the eyes in. I was getting tired of them flopping around, so I put the eyes in with eye covers. So everything is ready to rock and roll with the D10s in it. So let's move forward from here. So I want to get the trigger frame. Beautiful trigger frame. Already got the button piece for the board mounted. Got the trigger mounted earlier today. Cut a custom spring for it. So I like that solid weight to it. It'll rip and destroy people. And I also put the already put the rail on. So this is kind of a preview of what it will look like. So yeah, I think it's going to look great. So what I want to do now is get the solenoid in place. If I can remember correctly, 2 go to back, 1 go to front, like this. And I'm going to mount the wire behind it like that. And what I'm going to do is make sure the eyes are out of the way and just kind of do a pre-setting here. And it sits right between those two. I think that's going to be perfect to run without getting in the way of anything. So the main one that really causes problems, I don't know if I'll zoom in on this. So it's not going to be the top one. It's that bottom one right here. They're working backwards on the screen here. That bottom one. It actually pushes against that frame piece. So what I'm going to do is I have measured these out per the manual. I'm wanting to go ahead and slide these on, and I'm going to see if what the manual has written and what I have cut will work. Yeah, it's already fighting a little bit. That's okay. I can't do anything about it. Like that. I think that's going to work out great. Then we'll put this one on. Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be one of those ones that's just going to fight me the whole way. But that's fine. All right, so they said to cut it at 5 inches. So the one that really you have to get close, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it. This is the annoying part. Your beaters are the most CS2. Well, you know, it's taking a long time to get all these parts. Alright. So this one I know wraps around and you have to kind of like wiggle it to get it in place. But I want it to be short enough. And I want this hose piece to be short enough. Because it's going to sit up in here like this. I might be regretting this long cable, but what can I do? You know? Let's move this up into here. Alright, so I don't know why they say 2.5 inches. That doesn't make sense because, like I said, I wanted to do this live to see everybody's reactions to everything because I haven't built one of these before. I've done the vise, I've done the all the G6Rs, a lot of the smaller markers and whatnot. Okay, so I think you can see that right now. It's focused on those screws. There we go. don't want it to be stuck. And that's the sucky thing is you can't mount any of these solenoids. What mounts them is the actual hose. So if I pull the frame away and I don't get this right, because I want this to sit just perfectly, I think I'm gonna do, yeah, it's gonna fight me like that, right? Yeah. I'm gonna tilt it like that. No, it's gonna fight this one. But I think, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. I think it's about that long. So I've got extra hose. Let's see if we can't start by cutting a few things. And then we will put in, back around, like that. I gotta cut it some more. Oh, okay. Fun thing messing with hose barb, you know? There we go. I guess I'll just cut it down another hose barb length. Okay. We'll get the hose barb, we'll get the wires running in a minute. What I want to do is make sure that I can get this all wired up. Now the hose is pushed where I need it to push. And once I get it situated, we will tell it what we want it to do. Yeah. So I was thinking. Alright, so starting out here, we've got the solenoid in, and we're going to try to get it mounted here, but it's fighting me all the way. And then there's a little lip in here that I've got to get it flush on. So I need to cut the hose barb a little bit, or the rear hose line a little shorter. And then we'll move forward. Custom paintball guns, am I right? Alright, I think I've got it pretty much nailed. Yeah, look at that. It literally sat right in there. Alright, so this one. I can measure right to there. Yep. And probably a little bit more, but let's get it off. Perfect. Okay, now those two kind of measured. This one is designed to sit up in this tray here, and you wheel it back, and it keeps the solenoid kind of positioned. What you don't want it to do is you don't want it to crimp, so you kind of want to position it where it won't. So I want to cut it kind of right there. Alright. Well, welcome to my show, guys. Hopefully this is neat enough to draw a crowd. Yeah. Hopefully I'm being informative enough. I know I'm focused on this right now, but the running of the hose barbs is a little tedious. All the other fun stuff we did earlier, and whatnot. So key here is to see if we can't get this thing to where when we click in right there. So what I normally do is once I get that first click, you zoom out. That's the wrong way. I'll figure it out eventually. I like to put the first screw in. Now these screws have rubber washers on. I like to set everything up with washers. Don't scratch it now. Let's get it in there. There we go. Take your time on screws. Do not force things. Alright. Got that mounted. And we'll put the second one in. Pushing that hose out of the way. Okay, not all the way down. What you're wanting to do is you want to position where you can start sliding things around and setting things up inside the grip frame. Same thing on Angel, same thing on everything. Do not force wires anywhere they don't want to go, because you will be sorry later. So what I do is I just kind of reroute them where they're not going to get stuck, they're not going to get hit anything. Other thing you're looking for is to make sure the hoses are in their protective spots. Yeah. Alright, so everything is kind of has a home now, as you can see. I've routed all the hoses. I've routed all the wires how I want to have them. I put the two grip frame screws in. Not tightened down, because the panels on these old Intimidators, what they'll do is they'll lock up. You can't get it in. I'm like, it doesn't want to close, and you're stuck with it. So you gotta take it off, be gentle, move things around. Everything has a place, and it will find it. Okay. All for my one viewer. I wonder if that's John or if that's my wife. Not too for sure who. John, you still on, or did I bore you? Yummy. I was hoping for more people tonight, but I guess I bored the shit out of them. Oh, it's Gabe. Hey, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to guess. John usually is the one that hangs around, and then my wife usually sits on there. So see if I'm saying anything stupid. I'm glad you're still there. So for your Intimidator today, I literally did this whole same process. The only one thing I need to tell you about while you're here is this front screw is getting stripped on yours. I put an extra long one in there with some washers to kind of give it some play, but might need to have it helicoiled down the way or find a new body eventually for it. But it's getting to that point where it's wearing out. Somebody had used an old screw and cut it, and it had marred up the threads on yours. So we need to take a look at that and see. But yeah, back to the show here. All right, so we've got everything positioned. You don't have these little dental picks. Buy some dental picks. You can move things out of the way, move things around inside the gun. I should say marker to be politically correct, even though I don't like being politically correct. All right, so what I want to do before I forget is put these little buttons in, because once I get everything positioned, I'm going to get really upset if I forget to put these buttons in. Yep, got it in there, perfect. The bottom one, top one. All right. No, it's not good, partner. I think, yeah, I think we're getting to that point where it's just getting old and whatnot. I have it as tight without stripping it further. I even ran a tap in it, just kind of clear the threads. But yeah, it's starting to get to the end of its life there. Cheers to everybody. I'm drinking an old fashioned, tequila old fashioned tonight. Where was I? Oh yes, board time. So like I said, I love Tadao. Lots of Tadao stuff that I run. Sci-fi is the new Tadao. They're not Tadao, but if you want something that's like Tadao with the max technology, the fast software, the fast everything, Sci-fi boards are the way to go. If you still can pick up Tadao boards, get them. This one, reason why this one's rare is because it's a working OLED, and I'll show it to you once I power it up. But a lot of these parts are still available and around, and you can find them and use them. And the parts are easily available, which is funny. It's the boards that are running, getting harder and harder to find. So what I like to do is to move things around and just kind of find a happy medium for things to sit. Don't want to force any of these wires. They're all very small, and you just kind of keep moving things around until it sits in its position. I know the battery's going to need to go kind of like this, so I want to rotate this cable. It's brand new, and you just kind of work it until it's out of the way of those buttons. So it's on the bottom, and you kind of work it in there. And now I'm hitting something, so let's see what that is. It needs to sit down on its haunches here. So I'm hitting something, and it's rubbing. So what is it? We'll figure it out. You do not want to force anything. So let it sit flush and then figure out the problem. Like here, I'm up out of the saddle. I don't like that. Something is sitting up off of something. So that looked like it was a solenoid. Okay, so the solenoid moved. All right, and then now everything's kind of sitting a little lower. Okay, and that wire was in the way. And this is the tedious part. Yeah. Let me get that screw head in there. All right, you might see some of my head here for a minute because I'm trying to get everything in its place, and then there is a little Allen that I took out. There we go. Salute, yes. There we go. You heard that click. All right, so I need an extra small Allen set. I think this screw is a 080. I don't know why they went so small with this stuff, but look at that, guys. This board has been out of a gun for a long, or marker out for a long time. And look at that. we now have a Tadao board mounted in a Gen 4 as it should be. USB sitting just high enough. And I went, so here's something else that you'll learn about me. A lot of people know I'm really stickler for perfection. Hence the name Tune. It took me forever to come up with that name, funny enough. Tune to perfection. Find the best parts you can. Just do some research and look and put the best parts together. Even if it's a screw. They make set screws for in the industry, and I'll try to zoom in on it if I can ever get it to not. You can see the shadow of that one right there. There's a little plastic tip on that. That is a non-marring plastic tipped screw, so it will not mar or mark that frame. So every Intimidator, every paintball gun, everything known to man that doesn't run these is going to have a little circular mark where that set screw bounces against that aluminum. So what I like to do is I like to get these set screws and put them in there, and they make them for all different sizes, all different things, and it just saves a lot of trouble. Now I kind of went overboard on this one. I put it for the micro switch as well as the frame because A, this is a custom build, and B, I wanted to just go overboard. So a few days ago, I blew Loctite of these so that they will be very stiff to adjust. And now I'm going to have to sit here and adjust until it hits that micro switch because I couldn't guess. I just had to get them in there and set them in so that I didn't have to do this tonight and then hope that it locks in place correctly, you know. Almost touching it. Also, with those little plastic tips, I don't have to go as far with the set screws because they add about 2 millimeters to the end of a screw. Ooh, almost touching that micro switch. And it's clicking, folks. Now, here's another trick. What I do for these is I will make sure the trigger is as tight as possible. And what I like to do is I like to make sure that my micro switch activation screw, which is what they call it, will is touching and already moving that plate just a little bit. So when I engage it and I touch that metal plate, I push it just a hair so that I take up that slack. So I already know I'm in the engagement zone of that micro switch. So what I want to do is be able to click and then go about a millimeter past it, and that's what the stop screw is for, the rear post travel. So on this one, I can see behind that I'm actually going, there's the click, and about a millimeter or two past it. And what that does is that allows me to have a very short trigger pull, but I'm not going to damage, I'm not going to damage that micro switch. I'm not going to collapse it every time, and I'm crunching that button in there, crunching the button in there, crunching the button in there. So inherently, what they would do back in the day is a trigger job. All right, let's make sure my buttons work. Yep. All right, we are set, guys. That went, knock on wood, that went better than planned. Of course, I already had the failings with the one shroud, or the sleeve. If you haven't caught up with that, I'm still pissed off about that. It's $40 broken and down the drain. One stupid little hose barb. So, salute, drink. Maybe I should start drinking games every time I say or talk about micro switches or screws. What do y'all think? Micro switch or screw or back in my day for drinking? Like every time I say it. Anybody else drinking tonight? Zoom out here. Man, I keep daggum going back. can't figure out this camera. All right, there. See, there's the desk, computer, drink, and then I'm saving this for the end, y'all. A super nerdy thing. Um, I don't know if y'all have ever seen this. It's called an ES120. Zoom in on it. Hey, I got it right the first time. So my wife got this for me. I just love nerdy things. This is a self-driving screwdriver. So let me turn the light off. All right, let the camera adjust. All right, because the light's so bright it actually dims this little screen. So I'm gonna push the. This is so nerdy, and y'all don't laugh, okay? A beer. Yeah, I know. I actually went to Toastmasters and worked on my presentation skills, but I've gotten pretty rusty after this COVID layoff thing, and I'm just like and. So bear with me, damn it. Drink anyway. So this is an ES120 self-driving screwdriver. It's like one of those stupid things, but it's so awesome. It's all aluminum, like it's a stainless steel casing, aluminum shrouds inside, digital, everything. You can charge. It has a little battery up here. But what's cool is you turn it on and you can, I don't know if you can see the screw going down. It's telling you that you're screwing in or you're screwing out. And it has an auto torque function. It'll sense the torque and it will adjust its torque vectors or modes to help pull the screw out or put the screw in. So for the last part of this build, when I put the clear grit frames on, that's what I'm going to use, just to be super nerdy about it. So yeah, y'all get ready for nerddom. What else? Oh yeah, so these the spring I used. If you want to get new springs, I just ordered the Inception Designs trigger spring kit, and then I cut them down to length and whatnot for whatever I needed. So that was very simple. Gabe, you need to drink as much beer as you want, man. Just drink. It's Friday night. We're shooting shit, shooting paintball, or talking about paintball guns, and then I'll probably shoot you with this weekend. So, I mean, why not, right? All right. Next tip. You just come to my videos for tips, right? I buy these. These are very expensive, which is ridiculous for batteries, but they're called Ultimate Lithium Energizers. These things weigh nothing for a 9-volt battery. So 9 volts, I feel like they have a little heft to them, these old metal ones. These right here have a plastic casing and they're lithium. They give more voltage for a longer period. Use that for self-defense. I'm pretty sure like stab it in and then like take their eye out. Yeah. We will see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will though. Don't call me overkill for nothing. But yeah, Energizer Ultimate Lithium. One of these I think is like, I want to say it's $10 just for one of these batteries, or $9 for just one. A dual pack is $17. So I think I'm right. I think they're $9 by themselves. 17 as a dual pack, so you save $1. But what you gain with these Ultimate Lithiums in the plastic, they do not fit in DM3s. You cannot slide them into the back of a DM3, so don't even try. But any other gun that has a square cut hole that you need to fit one of these in, they are the lightest battery. If you're going for a lightweight build, they're the lightest battery and they last forever. Now, if you have a frame like this one, this is actually these Tadals actually have a voltage leak in them. Oh no! See, as we talked, look what happened. It crimped. So what we do, if you have a voltage leak in your rig, they don't last as long. But let's see if we can't fix this hose. Everything's perfect. No. All right. What we'll do is we'll just slide it off. Make sure I'm not grabbing. And also another tip, get some really long needle nose. These things, I mean, half of it is smooth, the other half has texture. Get some really long needle nose. Alright, so what we just saw was that it had a crimp. So see that crimp forming? Well, it's not there because I'm changing it, but it's trying to form right there. So what we're going to do to solve that is we cut the hose. In the worst cases, we just get a new hose or we flip the hose. It shouldn't be doing that. This hose is pretty flexible, but it is in a very tight spot. So what we need to do is cut off about that much, about a hose barb length amount, and then slide this back in. And here comes the reason why you need long needle nose. So you get down and dirty inside the gun without taking it apart. Work it. And we're still trying to crimp right there. So let's pull it out and see if we can't get it to a non-crimp. Yeah, it's still trying to crimp. All right, so we got a crimping issue, and my brain's I might go quiet. I haven't learned the best way to talk and problem solve. So what we'll do, stretch it out a little bit. I like to curl it a little bit, and then try to get it in its natural spot. Right there. It seems to be perfectly happy right there. So let's crimp it just a hair. Another tech tip, get some of these crimpers. So they look like nail pliers. Just cut everything so well, makes it easy. I don't know the actual term. I think of them nail clippers, but they cut wires so well. All right, so now we've eliminated that bend there, and it's not, let's see if I can zoom in on it. Let's see if it's good. Yeah, so you can see right there it was crimping, and now I've kind of pulled it up into the gun and around, and it's got a nice curve to it. Now when it gasses up, it's going to pull back and fill up, so we're not going to have to deal with it, but I don't like things just sitting there as in a bent fashion. All right, back to the battery. All right, the $9 battery. So if you can get your hands on a few of these, you won't see these in customer guns, sad to say, but you will see any guns that come out like I do a custom build, or if you request it, I will put them in. They're just a lot more expensive to deal with, and they're shiny. I usually use Energizer Max or Energizer Industrial. So you'll see either coming out for me, it's Max or Industrial. Unless you give me a battery like Gabe did. Give me a Duracell. Duracell. So let's power this back up. Someday Energizer will be watching and be like, you know, we're going to sponsor him. And I want to pay for this. Alright, let's see if we can get it in there. Like I said, this is a fresh build, fresh everything, fresh wires, fresh wiring. So everything is going to take a bit to figure out to get it in there and bend and form and press. I'm also being like super like OCD careful and making sure everything is in its place. And look at that. Now we test. So check this thing out. Let's turn the light on. And let's zoom in on it. What the heck? Let's see if it. No, focus. Focus. There we go. A working OLED board. Now, let's see, do eyes work? Eyes are working. Check this out. Top part. I can't see on the screen. I can't see a thing. Anyway, there's a showing a little ball next to a battery and it's working just fine. So let's turn the eyes off. Oh yeah. And she is alive. I don't think they're going to allow me to play at Millennium 13 BPS. But because I'm testing it like that, I do notice that I need to pull or bring in the trigger, the micro switch point a little bit more because I'm having to release more. Oh, that's better. Now it's working just right. Build cost to date. Okay, that's a good question. Let me turn this off. Bye bye. Yes, I love you. Okay. Like, all right, build cost to date. Well, the first one that I remember, I can actually tell you real quick. Let me pull up the couple of the so the body itself, I want to say when I bought it was like $100. I think they've gone way up in price now. Let's move this to the other screen. But the board itself is unicorn level rare, so I don't know what it costs now. It would be probably in the 200s. The screws are all stainless. That cost me $50 shipping. The Inception Designs on off was 70. The reg itself was close to 100. I think this was 40 at the time. This was 20 at the time. This was 20. These alias covers are 20. The trigger was 20. I have to say, probably if you were to build it now, it would be $600, $700. So probably new paintball marker territory. Like I said, I bought all this 2 years ago, and when nobody wanted these older generation intimidators other than collectors. I searched and searched and searched for one of these boards and finally found it. And the guy was like, "Yeah, it works," and I'm like, "I'll buy it." Now, because all the old markers are cool again, if you can find them, these are sold out. You can't get them anymore. I want to pull up their website, but they're not. Their website's so slow. And of course, I'm also streaming at the same time. Let's see here, Ripper 3. So I have a Ripper 2, I have a Ripper Vic, now I have a Ripper 3. Let's see what the Ripper front, the body was. If their website loads. So they say Ripper Gen 4 Blood Splatter on their website, $700. The body itself, which I didn't pay this is what they bumped their prices up to, was $280 now, and it's sold out. So when I bought it, I want to say I paid like $100 or $125. It wasn't that bad. And then all the other little parts, the lurker, valve pin, I think was 30 plus shipping, so 40 something bucks. So the main thing you always look for on these Gen 4s is this rear cap for the RAM housing. These knurl for your fingers, these always have ano issues, and when you use them enough, they will wear out. And so this one actually has really deep black. I actually bought 3 or 4 of these caps before I came across this one where it doesn't have the bad ano. So I went several times through to get this, as perfect as possible. Thanks for I mean that's a good question. So, all right. So I have a brand new frame with a brand new window screen. I even had to get these little jewels. I have a few of them as kits. Now this one has a clear coating on it. I need to peel it away. Let's see if we can peel it without damaging it. Boom! Look at look. So new it has the protective coating on it. All right, so get off me. The thing I didn't want to do was make sure that I didn't tighten these screws down to the point where it didn't want to shut. So that's what we have to watch out for. And I've been talking too much. So now I gotta find the happy medium. Okay, that needs to be adjusted. The battery isn't sitting high enough. That's why you get the dental picks up. Where did I do the other one? Welcome, guys. Glad y'all showed up tonight. Okay. If I get that battery to slide forward, it's being pushed down by something. There we go. That way. Shut. And like I said, on all of these guns, this is the first time I've ever dealt with these Gen 4s. So I'm pretty sure that if I push this towards the north, yeah, like that. This fits like that. You know what? I'm forgetting something. That's why I hurried. Let me put the grip there, the trigger there. Oh, I think I saw that. Oh, Gabe, I did put some new screws in for your grip frame. There was just one I couldn't find. It was a longer 4-40. So you'll just have to go to Ace Hardware and get it. It's for the back of the frame. You'll see it. I just didn't have. I couldn't find it. So let's see if we can push that ahead. Push that out of the way. And close this. Grab them out. Okay. Don't scratch anything. No, excellent. So this is fitting everywhere but this one corner. Dang it. get that corner to drop. It has space for it. I think it's the new battery mount in here. In the worst case, I put a regular battery, but I wanted this to run with a good battery. But this might be my second marker that I have been able to get to fit. Let's see. Like this. Let's see. Key thing is don't force anything, you know? Do not force things. I don't think this will fit. This might be my second marker that I've come across that will not accept this battery. It just won't accept it. All right. Scroll back over here and grab a normal battery. Which kind of sucks, but that's all right. I don't want to hurt anything. I don't want to damage anything. I will push that in there. It was designed for this kit. It's funny, but that's one's not fitting either. Oh, no, they got it. Okay. That is a tight ass fit. All right. That, like that, let's go ahead and lock it in place. Okay, note to self, just regular batteries. On Gen 4s. I mean, y'all are seeing what I'm doing in real time with this thing, man. Make sure it turns back on. I'd be so mad. I'll just give up this whole streaming thing. Just be like, you know what? Screw it. Screw it. Don't want to deal with it. Make sure the eyes still work. Okay. That'd be the worst night ever. I screw all this together with the better battery, and I'm like, yeah, better battery, woo! And then like just short everything out, destroy the board, and just rage quit, just like leave the camera and just walk out of here just cussing. I'd probably make for good YouTube. I mean, don't anybody encourage that. I'm pretty sure most possums on here would probably be like, yeah, it'd be funny, let's do it. Rage quit. All right. Look at that. That is beautiful. No rattles. And what I will do over the next few days, especially with at the paintball out there at Giant Sports this weekend and whatnot, I will run this thing through its ringer, make sure that it's working, and shooting, and whatnot. Yeah, I know it's too pretty to blow up. It's too pretty to take to the field. I mean, what do I do? Okay, so here's the funny part. So I'm going to. This is what everybody's been waiting for all night. Tune in. So I've got these old, what do you call them? Stinger grips from Stinger Paintball. They are uh, excellent clear grip panel. And I was going to use the super duper duper nerdy screwdriver. And that's what you turned into. You tuned in for was the extremely nerdy screwdriver. So it torques it up. Now, oh, side note. I need to make sure I'm on the screen. 630 seconds, 3/16. You don't need any longer than that. The battery is right there, and you're going to screw into the battery. It's just a big problem I see with a lot of people. The battery, it will dent the battery, and it's not good. So I notice a lot of people screwing their stuff in there. I used to do it. It's just bad. It'll hurt it. All right, let's see. I think I did it like that. Yeah, those two. So using the nerdy screwdriver, everybody's like, I tuned in just for the screwdriver. I was telling Maggie, my wife, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use the really nerdy screwdriver, and it's gonna bring in views. And they'll be like, what is that? I'll be like, you can't have it because they don't make it anymore. So when you start laughing like it's Burt Reynolds. Alright, maybe one there. Just to make sure they're torqued up. Can't find these grips anymore, so I don't want to lose them on the field. Alright. I haven't drank in a while. Drink! So magically, we were up to 7 viewers. We're down to 3 now. I've probably ran a lot of people off. Here we go. It is now a paintball marker. I've got 4 items left to talk about. So the ram, bolt, intimidators. Line them up. Make sure they're in the slot. You'll know when they're in the slot because you can press against the valve, okay? What I normally do is I will take some of my oil that I use, the Outlast, and I rotate it to the left, put a few drops, rotate to the right, put a few drops. Same with the front, especially on new bolts. It will definitely coat this whole area. Okay. No, not in there. There we are. All right. Okay, second thing is what you want to do is you want to look down into the breech area and you want to take your fingernail. Okay, now my fingernails are pretty crap right now, but you want to take your fingernail, you want to run it down the back side of the feed neck, so the back side. Run it down, and you want to feel about a 1/16. So it's going to grab your fingernail, and it's going to click. You'll feel that little click, the little ridge. Right now, the little rubber tip on this is too far forward, so I need to adjust it backwards just a hair. And what that will do is that will set my positioning as the bolt wears in, okay? And that, with that 1/16 point, will set your bolt just right so the ball won't roll back into the breech and cause issues. So you want that 1/16 in there. Beyond that, you're all right. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I did that new. I was trying a new thing out last night and going a little nerdy on stuff. Locked the feed neck. There it is. I have these Japanese, what do you call them? O-rings. They're really weird sizes, and I was like, well, I need to try that, and I think I need to go a little bit smaller. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna try that, and I can tell all my people that are following me to try it. Yeah, you go a size smaller. There. Alright, what size is this? I can't remember. Squirrel. P22. One of these quiet times in here while I'm trying to find an O-ring. That way you don't, y'all aren't entertained. Are you not entertained? Oh, down to 2 people. I have run so many people off tonight. It's great. No. Let's go to the next couple. Let's jump 2 sizes down. All right, so what this is fixing is this feed neck, these twist feed necks, they don't have a bottom part. I want to be able to keep it from rattling and hold it in place, because if not, it threads down and sticks out the top, and it's just a bad design. But I also want to be able to spin this off or spin this on without the feed neck having issues. So pretty much nerdy mode, but I wanted to be able to move it on, move it off, and then not have it make a lot of noise. Just kind of one of those custom things I'm doing. All right. Cool. That's cool. I like how that's kind of cut down. I might actually sit down and Dremel this to where it will follow this point. Just see the white, but I kind of like the point at the moment. It's whatever I want to do because it's my custom build, right? All right. Now you'll see my method to my madness here. So this extra long reg, the reason why I buy them is because when you put the ASA on, and I'll turn it towards the camera. You put the ASA on, look how almost close that is. I'm literally just a hair off. Let's see. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. All right. So what I want to do is I want to see, and this makes it really easy. There's a line on these valves where you know where it kind of engages with the O-ring that's in there. And I usually do a little bit less or a little bit more than that, and then I'll be able to cut it, and then I can cut it back. So if I slide this out, I slide it on, it should engage. Yes, and then I slide it back. Dang, I missed. It's alright. We can do more. That's what we do this for. We use the longer end wherever it fell on the floor too. Oh, bumped the camera. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Maybe it was the longer marker? Can't see. Let's see. Okay, perfect. That's dead on. Okay. Perfection. Measured. Done. Happy day. Alright. Now, put these set screws in. 3 people watching. Excellent. I'm judging the world by how everybody's watching me. Isn't that how I'm supposed to do it, Gabe? I figured one of my best clients was going to be watching tonight, but he just jumped in and jumped out, so I don't know. I think Gabe's going to be my new best client. And then how the cam girl thing works, whatever it is, being paid to watch. I don't know. Someone made that joke earlier. I think it was last night or night before. It was like only fans or whatever, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't even know how that works. All right. These so it's cool. So it's good and bad. I was literally just gonna say that. So what's good and bad about these Inception design ASAs? They are awesome. Like how to turn them on, how to set them up, putting them in. I think one of my guys that I've fixed for him, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 of his guns at this moment. So you're at 3, I think. So the positives and negatives of these Inceptions. So 1, they're awesome. 2, they're very small and lightweight. 3, negative. They are so hard to get to put back together. So they have this little rod that you have to have perfectly positioned right there. And if you tilt one way or the other, it falls out. So we'll set it like that for right now. And then trying to get this spring-loaded POS to line up and then jump to the hole without that spring shifting it out of the way. It is, okay, there we go. So I got it. Okay, and then holding it in place. So I gotta flip it over, slide this in, make sure that it's centered, and then push it past the edge. I need to make sure it's centered. Push past the edge and it's locked in. And then you can rotate it and slap it in place. Look at that hose lineage, man. Just a hair off. Man, cannot get any better than that. All right, so we've adjusted the trigger. We've built this thing. Let's gas it up. And I bet it's gonna leak like a sieve because I haven't worked that valve in, and it's probably because I pushed the bolt into it. It's gonna be like, no, no, don't touch me. How dare you? Okay. Start up. Let's see what I do with that. There's in the back. Yeah, it's in the back. She's a beauty, Clark. I agree. Alright. So, finished product. Alright. Gas her up. Let me turn the eyes off. Eyes off. Oh, she's sealed. She has a leak. Down the barrel like I thought. Oh, I have an O-ring come out. That's the bolt. Alright, so I'm moving it around. What broke? Okay, so there's an O-ring on the bolt. That's what I thought. Alright. This might be a part 4. Yeah, so the valve is having issues. I think what it is, I think there's an O-ring that I need to change. These are little old O-rings on that valve pin. But she shoots. So that's where I'm going to end it tonight. It's been an hour and 25 minutes of me just rambling. But yeah, I think what I'll need to do from this point forward is to pull the valve out. And I'll probably just do that off camera. And sit down and make sure those O-rings are correct. They're old, so I'm pretty sure they're dead. They've probably worn out. So, and work on these bolt O-rings. As you can see, these are old O-rings too, and they just cut. So what I need to do is probably put 13s on, which I don't need it to seal. This is where I need it to seal at. I don't need these front O-rings. So what I'll do is probably do 13s so they will clear those D10s. But yeah, as you can tell, all the stuff I have is old. It's been sitting a while, so it's just breaking. So I really appreciate everybody signing in and whatnot. We will go through and off camera here, and I think what I need to do is adjust that board a little bit too. So I'll do that all tomorrow while I'm just messing around. But like I said, it's gonna have a leak down the barrel. I anticipated it. I really think it's that the O-rings I saw them, but I was like, you know what, we're gonna benefit of the doubt. But I'm pretty sure the O-rings are dead and swollen in there. All I need to do is just change them out and put new O-rings on, gas it up, and try it out. So I'll do that off camera. I really appreciate y'all showing up and enjoy the evening on your Friday. Talk to you later. Bye.